This is the fourth and final worked example for writing a class. In previous examples, we have looked at naming the class and defining all of the instance and class level variables. We have looked at writing constructors and writing accessors and mutators. In this example, we'll look at writing the ToString and the equals method. Finally, we'll look at writing any other additional or facilitator methods. A reminder, the example we're looking at is to represent an instance of time, like a specific time in the day. The attributes have been declared, as well as the accessors and mutators. Now we want to write the ToString and equals methods. Subgoal 8 is to write the ToString method. It should be public. The return type should be string. It takes no parameters, and the logic is to convert the attributes into a string format so that the contents of the object can be printed. Here we have the logic for our ToString method for time type. For the logic, we want to convert the instance attributes hour, minute, and second into a string format that is hour followed by colon, followed by minute, followed by colon, followed by second. We declare a local variable holder of data type string and initialize it to be an empty string. When printing a time, if the hour, minute, or second is less than 10 or only a single digit, you generally want to put a 0 in front of that digit. You would not see a time printed as 10, 5, 4. That would look odd. So for the logic, we're looking to see that if the hour or the minute or the second is a single digit or less than 10, then we want to add a 0 to the output string. So the logic says if hour is less than 10, holder is assigned the value, the string containing a 0. Then we have holder plus equals hour plus colon. Remember, the plus equal is shorthand for holder equals holder plus the contents after the compound operator. In this case, we're doing concatenation. We are concatenating to the output string the contents of the instance attribute hour plus a colon. If minute is less than 10, we add a 0 to the output string. Notice in this case, it's in single quotes, meaning it's a character, but that's okay. You can concatenate a character to a string. So now we have concatenated on the value of the minute instance attribute plus a colon. Last, we look at the second. If it's a single digit, we add a 0 character to the string, output string, and then we add the value of the second instance attribute. The last statement in the method is to return the value of the local variable holder. Remember, since the return type is a string, we have to have a return of a string variable inside the method logic. Subgoal 9 is to write the equals method. For an equals method, it needs to be public. It should return a Boolean value, true or false. The parameter should be an instance of the class, and then the logic is to compare the attributes for equity. As the designer of the class, you get to define what it means for two instances of the class to be considered equal. It may be looking at all of the attributes. It may look at some subset of the attributes. For a time type, we only want two times to be equal if their hour, their minute, and their second attributes are all equal. So here's the logic for our equals method in the TimeType class. It is public, it returns a Boolean, and the method name is equals. The parameter is an instance of the TimeType class, which we have called other. The logic is to look at the hour of this instance and compare it to the hour of the other instance. Hence we have hour equal other.hour. Then we do the same thing for minute and second. Notice if they are all equivalent, then the logic will be true and the expression and method will return a value of true. If any of them are different, the method will return false. An alternate implementation is to consider the ToString values. Remember, the ToString converted all three of the attributes into a string format. Therefore, if the two strings are equivalent, then the two instances must be equivalent. So you could call the ToString method on this object dot equals the ToString on the other or parameter object. There will be some enhancement to the equals methods that we'll get to, just not in this example. Subgoal 10 is to then write any other methods that are needed for this class. One thing that you might want to do with a time is to increment it. So we're going to create a facilitator method called increment that returns nothing and takes no parameters. The idea is to add 1 second to the existing time. So the first line of the implementation is to increment the second instance attribute. Now that we've done that, we need to see if second has rolled over and is greater than 59. If it is, then we need to reset its value to 0 and then increment the minute attribute. Now we need to see if minute has rolled over or is greater than 59. If so, we need to reset it to 0 and add to the hour instance attribute. If hour has now rolled over and is greater than 23, we reset it to 0, which is the start of the next day. Notice that these are sequential if statements, not else ifs, because we want all three to be checked every time we increment the value of second. Here's another facilitator method. We might want to determine if one time type is less than another time type. So here we have a public method that returns a Boolean, true or false. The method name is less than, and we're comparing our instance to another time type instance that we'll call other. We'll initialize a local variable called result, that is a Boolean, to be false. We are assuming that the two time types are not equal. First, we look to see if our hour instance attribute is less than the other hour. If so, the current activating object is less than the parameter. So we set result to true. Else, if the hour is greater than the parameter's hour, we know that the result is false. Otherwise, we need to check the minutes. If hour is not less than other hour and not greater than other hour, then the hours must be equal. So now we have to check the minutes. If the minute is less than the other minute, the result is true. Otherwise, if the minute is greater than the other minute, the result is false. Otherwise, the minutes must be equal, so now we check seconds. If the second is less than the other second, then the result is true. Otherwise, the result is false. In this case, if the time types are exactly equal, the hours are equal, the minute is equal, and the second is equal, it is not less than, so we would return false. The last line is to then return the result. This is our full UML diagram. we have added all of the extra methods that we added in this example. Now we can look to see what this looks like in a driver program, where we have declared one instance of time type, which is noon, with the values of hour 12, minute 0, second 0. We can print noon. Notice on the second line, we have print line noon, which is a string, followed by noon, which is our variable. In this case, concatenating noon to a string will automatically call the ToString method. This will cause the ToString logic to be called, which will then print to the monitor 12:00:00. Remind yourself why 00 is printed and not just a single 0. We now declare another instance called due time, which is set to 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. We can then print that out as well. It would print 23:59:59. We're now going to go through a loop that will go 362 times. Each time we will increment the due time, calling the increment method. Remember, increment adds 1 second to it. Then we would print the due time. Remember, concatenating due time to a string will call the ToString method. What do you think would be printed for the due time? The last would be a call to the less than method. We want to see if due time is less than noon. So we're going to call the less than method, predict what will be printed. That is the end of this worked example.